Hi everybody, this is Jeremy Siskind. I'm the author of Playing Solo Jazz Piano, as well as the Jazz Piano Fundamental Series. There's 3 books. You can grab them at jeremysiskind.com. You can grab them at Amazon, wherever amazing books are sold. And today's video is pretty different than I usually make videos, but I was inspired lately by one of my favorite artists putting out a new album. The title of this video is something like you probably have never heard of my favorite jazz singer, and I bet 80 or 90% of you have not. I love Ella Fitzgerald. I love Billie Holiday. I love Sarah Vaughan. I love the classics. I love Louis Armstrong. I love Kurt Elling. I love Chet Baker. I love Cecile McLaurin-Salvant, Gretchen Parlato, all these young stars. But if you looked at which jazz singer I listen to the most, there's no question that it is Norma Winston. Okay, Norma Winston, spelled like Winstone. I'll show you here. This little playlist that I made that I'm going to play some of it for you. Norma Winston is a British vocalist. She's still alive, still making really great music. Probably an elder stateswoman of the jazz scene by now. But she sounds probably pretty different than most of these jazz vocalists that I listed. And I'm drawn to her for a few reasons. The first one is that I have a tendency towards the bittersweet and the nostalgic. Peak music listening for me is taking a slow walk at dusk. And just kind of reflecting. And Norma Winston's music is perfect for that kind of mood. I think secondly, I really love great words and great lyrics. And of course, I love the standard jazz repertoire. Norma Winston is one of the best lyricists out there. I'm going to tell you more about that soon. And then I also love the pianists that she's worked with. She has worked with my teacher, Fred Hirsch. I'm going to talk a lot about John Taylor, this brilliant, brilliant pianist. And she gives the musicians a lot of room to explore. It's not just kind of take one chorus of solo or a half chorus of solo. She gives them a ton of room to explore and to accompany her in these really interesting, unusual ways. So I want to DJ some of her music for you. Of course, we can't listen to whole long tracks, but I want to at least show you some snippets. And I think first, I want to show you something off of the album where I discovered her, which is an album called Songs and Lullabies, which is by Norma Winston and Fred Hirsch. And many of you might know that I'm a student of Fred Hirsch. He's one of our greatest living pianists. And so it was, kind of seeing this album that got me really interested in Norma's music originally. And what's pretty remarkable, so what Norma did is she wrote lyrics to songs that Fred had already written. So he gave her lead sheets and she wrote lyrics, which is really hard to do. But Fred has told me that her lyrics are so good that now when he just plays the songs himself, he sings her lyrics in his head. That is such a high compliment to a lyricist. So each of these songs is a pre-existing Fred Hirsch composition. Okay. Sorry, I thought the audio wasn't working. Each of these songs is a pre-existing Fred Hirsch composition that goes under a slightly different name, because that, for copyright reasons, when you write a new lyric, you have to change the name. So I'm going to play for you Stars, which is, the instrumental version is entitled Endless Stars, and I recommend checking that out as well. They're both really beautiful. So here's Stars by Fred Hirsch and Norma Winston.
Dark, the sky was indigo, the night we magic grew out of endless stars. Strange, the kind of miracles the stars create. You were in my life, but it was late, far too late to reverse the clock, to retrace our steps. It's so much harder, I find, without the light of endless stars. Clear.
All right, I hate to cut that off. To me, that just like it wraps me up like a warm hug. It's so lovely, so warm, so beautiful. She's not a showy singer. You're never going to be impressed by her vocal Olympics. She's not going to. She is a great scat singer, but she's not going to scat the fanciest singer. That's not why you listen to her. You listen to her to tell a story and be wrapped in the warmth of the sound. Now, Norma Winston happens to have been married for quite a time to John Taylor, who is arguably the greatest British jazz pianist ever. I guess George Shearing and others would have something to say about that. Certainly, maybe one of the greatest jazz pianists of the last 20 or 30 years, and one of the greatest touches on the piano. And they had just really interesting collaborations, including a group called Azimuth, which was Norma Winston, John Taylor, and the great trumpet player, flugelhorn player, Kenny Wheeler. They put out a lot of albums together. But I want to play you a duo first between Norma Winston and John Taylor from an album called Like Song Like Weather. This is some of my favorite vocal accompanying of all time. This is the tune Alice in Wonderland, which is a standard that many of you know. This whole album, it's so good. Even there's a very silly tune called Ladies in Mercedes, but it's really fun. A beautiful version of I Loves You Porgy, and a lot of interesting inside of the piano playing. So let's check this out. This is Alice in Wonderland. Enjoy the vocals and definitely enjoy the piano accompaniment. Sorry, I've got too many devices going. I need to play it from here.
In Wonderland, how do you get to Wonderland? Over the hills, Wonderland, or just behind a tree. As clouds go rolling by, they roll away and leave the sky. Where is the land beyond the eye that people cannot see? And where do stars go? Where is that silver crescent moon? They must be somewhere on this sunny afternoon. Oh, Alice in Wonderland, how do you get to Wonderland? Over the hills, or here or there, I really wonder where.
So you hear a bit of, this kind of Hall of Mirrors, kind of Wonderland feeling in the way that John Taylor accompanies, and there's just such focus to their sound the whole way through. There's not a moment where they're taking a mental break, where they're stopping to listen. And I just so appreciate that commitment. One of the things that's been profoundly influential to me is this album called Somewhere Called Home, a Norma Winson album with her husband at the time, John Taylor, and then the woodwind player, Tony Coe. And I formed a group, some of you might know, with piano, voice, and woodwinds, really just inspired by this album. And it's this great nexus between great jazz playing, great almost classical chamber music, ensemble work, and then the emotions that I associate with like the singer-songwriter movement, where you really believe someone's story. So I want to play you a little bit of that. I'm worried this is just like way too ballad heavy, but hey, that's the mood we're in today. So this is the title track of Somewhere Called Home, and just appreciate that tuneful, interesting, captivating ways that they arrange around this melody with the piano and the clarinet. I hit the wrong button. Hit the button on the wrong device.
Somewhere called home, a town by a river, all muddy and brown. It wasn't so pretty, it wasn't so kind, but now I'm so lonely, it glows in my mind. The summers were fierce, but life offered something that seemed like a choice. Sing softly, sing sadly, of something called youth, of music that moved us and seemed like the truth.
All right, I hate disrupting that track because it all flows one element to another. It's not just like head, solo, head, which is cool, but just a little bit different. I'll play you just one last snippet because I know I'm approaching the 15-minute mark. I try to keep my videos somewhat short, but I want to play you one more track from that Fred Hirsch album. This is called The Eighth Deadly Sin, and here you'll hear a little bit more swing, you'll hear a little bit more humor. This is kind of a monkish composition by Fred Hirsch, and I believe that vibraphonist Gary Burton, who plays on a bunch of tracks on this album, joins as well. So this just gives you a little bit less nostalgic and sentimental of a track to kind of think about here. So here's a bit of The Eighth Deadly Sin. I'm going to click in the right place.
I really must be going, things to do now, must keep the juices flowing, push on through now, the timing is outrageous and lethargy contagious, no more red wine, meet that deadline, the deadly sin that's called procrastination has caused me nothing short of aggravation. Deserted by my muse now, I've everything to lose now. Concentration concentration, inspiration gone, and now there's someone at the door. Why do I take calls I should ignore? Is this just a lame excuse to stop what I should be doing?
Alright, so that's a little bit cheekier. It's really fun in a different way. Alright, folks, well, thank you for letting me tell you about my favorite singer. There's a lot of her albums to explore, including a brand new album by Norma Winston and Kit Downs, which I can't remember the name of right now. Someone will put in the comments. I will look for. But it's really quite a beautiful album. It's called Outpost of Dreams on ECM. Check it out, but check out some of that old stuff with Fred Hirsch, with John Taylor, and the Somewhere Called Home album. It's just some of that music that I keep coming back to again and again. I'll put my playlist, I'll add a few more pieces to my playlist, and I'll put it in the comments. I think I can make it public. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. Say playlist if you've watched this far. Bye-bye.